2 weeks ago, my husband and I were cleaning the nursery and be like, okay, we need to start getting things ready and just have an idea of what we want to do with the nursery.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting beside an incubator and all these monitors that are telling me her oxygen level, her heart rate.
Welcome back to another episode of Smashed Oranges. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe below. It helps us keep bringing you new fresh episodes every week and growing our community.
Mm-hmm. Today we're joined by a special guest. We are joined by Whit Carrigan, and she's amazing. So I'm going to read her bio word for word because I don't want to miss anything. Okay, so Whit, You're a certified athletic therapist. She's a content creator and devoted mom, navigating the complexities of motherhood while rediscovering herself through the journey. Mm-hmm. She's passionate about showing that being a mom doesn't mean losing yourself. It means evolving, growing, and embracing all aspects of who you are. Through her work, she inspires women to break free from societal pressures that say that they must have it all together or follow a specific path to be successful. Amen. With a background in athletic therapy, she helps postpartum moms regain strength and confidence in their bodies while also working with athletes to enhance performance and rehabilitation. Her expertise allows her to bridge the gap between fitness, recovery, and real life motherhood, offering valuable insights into balancing personal health, career aspirations, and family life. Through her social media platform, she shares the raw and real moments of motherhood, fitness, and Canadian lifestyle, creating a supportive space where women can feel seen, encouraged, and empowered. She believes that it's okay to pursue a career and still want to give your children everything you have. Success is not about perfection, but about embracing the journey with authenticity and resilience.
Yeah.
It's so well worded, Whit. I love
you.
it. A big amen to that. So thank you for spending the time today with us and joining us for this episode. We're very excited to delve into what your life looks like now and get into a little bit of backstory. How do we come to where we are now? So, Whit, do you mind giving us a little bit of a little sneak peek into how you came to where you are now, what your motherhood journey has been like thus far, and get us started.
Yeah. My gosh, where do I start?
Right?
It has been a journey. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my background. So I grew up in Greece. My dad played soccer professionally, so I've always been involved in the sports world.
Yeah.
And when I was 13, I was playing soccer and I broke my ankle. And I was quite competitive at the time. The injury happened, and when I returned, I just could not get back to the level that I was playing at before. And I was always fascinated by the way you see these professional athletes get all these injuries, and then they'd be able to get back to play at the level that they were playing at before the injury, or sometimes even better. So that led me down the path of trying to explore more about the human body and how it works, how we heal, how we rehab, and how you build strength so that when you get injured, you can return to where you were before. When I was in high school, I found out about athletic therapy, and it just became like a match made in heaven, because I realized this is something that I can take and learn about how the human body works, and I can educate other people about that.
So
because
cool.
I feel when you understand how your body moves, then you can make the right decisions for yourself, and you can realize what exercises are good or what movements aren't good. And then you understand your body. So if something feels off, you know that it's off.
That.
So I did that, and 2020 happened.
Yes,
that thing happened.
We're all getting flashbacks.
Right? And actually in 2020 was when I met my husband. And we had our first date, and the second date was everything had shut down. So I remember I was walking around Eau Claire and trying to find a spot to sit and eat, and couldn't find anything. So we just walked around.
So like March 16th, 2020?
Yeah, like our dating anniversary is March 19th. So yeah, we had like our first date. What are the odds? And yeah, so throughout that whole time, we got to know each other really well, because you spend a lot of time at home. And then we got married, and we got pregnant in 2023. Really excited. I've always wanted to be a mom. I find it is, being an older sister, I find like I kind of parented my younger brothers as well.
Amen. I hear that.
So I got pregnant, and I was like, I had all these expectations of, get pregnant, you go through the first trimester, like, yes, that's going to be horrible. And then second trimester, you get your energy back and you can do all these things. And I'm planning the nursery and staying active, because I know, like, if you stay active while you're pregnant, the better the pregnancy is going to go. So I'm doing all these things, checking off all these boxes, listening to my body. And then I went for an ultrasound when I was 25 weeks, just like your routine, just to kind of see how things are going. Before that, this might be a little TMI, but
we love TMI. I explain that.
What's the word? I noticed that my, why am I blanking on it right now? My mucus plug. I thought it fell out, and I remember telling my husband about it, and he's like, "Oh, like that's not that. Like it might not have been that. Like you should call your doctor." Called my doctor, and they ask you the routine questions of, "Are you in pain? Is anything uncomfortable?" And I'm like, "No, I just noticed this, and I'm calling to make sure it's okay." And they told me that sometimes it regrows, so I shouldn't worry about it as long as I'm not feeling any pain. And I had a follow up with them 2 weeks after. So they were like, "Yeah, you're going to come. If nothing happens, just come in for the follow up and we'll go from there." I did the follow up with them. And at the end of the appointment, they're like, "Everything looks great. You can go." And I was like, "Could we talk a little bit about the fact that my mucus plug fell out a couple weeks ago? And could you just take a look and make sure everything is okay?" They took a look, and they're like, "You know what? Maybe you should just go get another ultrasound. Like, I think everything is okay, but just to confirm, go get an ultrasound." And it was, I think my appointment was at 9 a.m. And I left the appointment and went to work, and I had a break. So I was like, I'm just going to call, see if I can book the ultrasound. Booked the ultrasound. And they said, "Oh, we have a space today. You can come in a couple hours." I was like, "Oh, perfect. I can just get this done." I had an opening in my schedule. So went and got the ultrasound, and it's taking a little bit longer than usual, but I'm like, okay, this is my first pregnancy. Like, it's happened to, just trying to make sure everything is going okay, because I had no warning or any inclination that something was going wrong.
Right.
And after the ultrasound, they take me to the room in the back, and they're like, "Oh, a doctor's going to come talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. Like,
just discuss.
This is normal." And one of the doctors comes and talks to me, and they said, my cervix was short, and it looked like I was going to be going into labor at any point. Yep. And they wanted me to go to, the hospital immediately. And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Can I go to the hospital after work?" That was my first, my first instinct was, I have responsibilities. I have people that are supposed to see me in a couple hours. And they're like, "Ideally, we'd advise you to go right now, just to make sure that, So I got into the car, and I called my husband and told him what was going on. And he was like, "All right, I'll meet you at the hospital." We get to the hospital and check into the maternity ward. And the lead OB came to see me, and they're talking through things with me, and they're like, "Oh, you seem fine. Like, baby seems fine." I'm like, "Okay, we're going to go home." And they're like, "You know what? We're just going to do one more check to make sure that you're okay." And they do like an internal check, and they're like, "You know what? You should go." So Foothills is a level 3 NICU. It is one of the only level 3 NICUs in, I think, southern Alberta and southern BC.
Wow.
So they were like, "Yeah, I think you should just go to Foothills. We'll tell them that you're coming. They'll prepare for you to be able to stay there for a couple of days and kind of see how things are going. Your body looks like it's like labor is imminent." And I'm just chilling in the bed like, "Oh, okay." Like, in the morning, I was fine. Went to my regular OB appointment, and here we are 10 hours later, and they're like, "Yeah, you're about to go into labor." So my husband and I, who went home, packed our stuff, went to the hospital. Thankfully, my sister-in-law is doing her residency in obstetrics.
so cool.
And she was at Foothills at the time. So she called ahead and just kind of told, like, had, I think it was like the head OB at the time, just told them of the situation. So I got that they had a room ready for us, which I'm so grateful for. So we got there, I get all settled, and my husband, he went to go do something, and here I am in the room just absorbing everything that has happened over the last couple of hours. And I just broke down, and I was so grateful that nobody was there, and I could just process the emotions of, you might be going into labor. I stayed there for 3 days and 3 nights, and in that period, because they thought she was going to be coming, or my daughter was going to be born early, they were giving me steroid shots to help her lungs develop a bit faster, so that when she was born, her lungs were a little bit stronger. So the steroid shots were every 12 hours. So I stayed there the whole time they were giving me the shots. And so that was Monday. Thursday, nothing had happened. Thankfully, while we were there and the hospital knew what was going on, they did have one of the neonatologists come and give us a talk about what would happen if our daughter was born prematurely, tell us kind of the process of what birth would look like, how they would take the baby to the NICU, and just kind of like their process, and how there are a lot of experts there. So kind of giving us a bit of an assurance about that, which was really good. Really appreciated it. Was discharged on Thursday because they're like, it's been 3 days. You've got all your shots. Nothing has changed. You're not in any pain. Baby's doing well. We'll send you home. And if anything changes, just come back and we'll take care of you. So we left on Thursday, got home. Everything was fine. Friday afternoon, I started feeling off. Till today, I cannot tell you what was off. It's just something wasn't sitting right with me. And I was like, maybe I'm just tired, or I ate something wrong. So we just had a chill day, went to bed around 9. And the only thing I can think of is just thinking that she's not moving as much as she would at night. Like something just, at night I would feel her move a lot, and she just was not moving at night. So we went to bed, and I woke up around midnight to go use the washroom, and I came back to bed, and I'm like, I just can't settle. Like something isn't right. So I woke up my husband, and I told him, can we just go and get it checked? I'd rather go to the hospital and they tell me like, oh no, everything is fine, you're just anxious, then something happened. And I was like, I didn't listen to my gut. So we got ready, went to the hospital. I think we got there slightly after 1 in the morning. And by that time I was starting to feel a bit of pain and discomfort. So we went to Foothills. I got admitted, and the pain just kept on getting worse and worse and worse. And I think it clicked on me at one point that I was actually in labor.
Oh, crazy.
And the head OB was doing another C-section. So they couldn't see me immediately. So I'm there in pain, and the nurses are trying to...
They're like, just,
you're okay.
fine,
Like,
you're doing great.
They'll be here as soon as they possibly can. And the OB comes over, she takes a look at me, and she's like, yeah, you are, I think it was 5 centimeters dilated at the time.
Whoa.
They're like, baby's coming, we're going to do an emergency C-section. And we're just going to try and take care of you as best as we can. And she leaves to go tell the nurse what's going on. And the moment she leaves, my water breaks. Not like, you know, like in the movies where it's like not the trickle, gush. It's like a full-on gush. And suddenly I get a relief, and the pain isn't as bad as it used to be. And the head doctor, the OB, comes back in, and they're basically everybody's moving, trying to get me from there to the OR room. They're trying to tell my husband what's going on. He's like, 2 seconds ago, we just came to see that she's okay. And here we are, and everyone is rushing and moving. And because she was so small, they were worried about her getting caught. And like their head is bigger, so her head not being able to go through. So that's why it couldn't be a natural birth. I'll say.
Thank you for reading my mind. Clarifying.
Right. So they wheeled me into the OR room, and they had to put me under. had the C-section, and I remember being wheeled into the OR room, and there were like 15, 20 people there.
Holy mackerel.
Because it's not just about me, it's also about, you know, my daughter and making sure that they have all the equipment they need to wheel her into the NICU. So I go in and they put me under, C-section happens, and she was born at 2:20 a.m. after we got there, slightly after 1. So everything just happened so fast. So I went into recovery. I remember waking up and not really remembering what had happened. And they wheel you to go see your baby in the NICU. And this is the part that hurts a little bit, as I do not remember that moment at all. Like, we have pictures and we have videos, but I don't remember seeing her that first like 24 hours after she was born. And then they wheel us back in the room. As they're wheeling me back to the room, we walk past the entrance room, and my mom is there and my brother's there, because my husband had called everyone, just being like, hey, this is what's happening, trying to alert them. And my mom, like, now that I'm a mom, I can understand just like the fear in her eyes. And she had been crying, and she just kind of sees me and she's like, are you okay? Like, how's the baby? They wheel me into our room. And that's when it hits me for the first time that my daughter's here, but she's in the NICU. And my husband has this like look on his eyes, like he hasn't slept the whole night. He's been trying to, you know, contact everyone and trying to stay strong and figure out what's happening, talking to the doctors. And I found this out later, but when after she was born, they wheeled her to the NICU, and he was there while they were putting in all the tubes and trying to get her, you know, stabilized. And he is like, I just stood there because you've got all these doctors, and their NICU staff is amazing. They are so calm and they know what they're doing. And they're just kind of talking through all these, just like it's like a regular Tuesday, right? It's just a routine thing.
It's a routine for them.
And he's like, I tried to stay out of the way as much as he possibly could, but also wanting to see her. So this all happens. Family's there trying to, you know, support us as best as they could. And my mom just sat outside the room so my husband and I could have a second of like, okay. They told us that this could happen, and now it's happening. I am tired and I'm exhausted and I'm in and out of sleep, but we kind of look at each other and we're like, okay, we're here now. This is it. Stayed at the hospital for 3 days as I'm recovering from the C-section. And the hardest part, I have to say, was leaving the hospital and not having her with us. Like, I remember walking out those doors, and I don't know how my legs were working. Like, I don't know how I walked out those doors, because I was like, oh, when you're there for the first 3 days, she's down the hall. I can walk to the NICU and spend as much time as I want with her. We hadn't read even halfway through the pregnancy books. So I had no idea about like, you know, baby blues after a baby's born, or anything postpartum. So the first couple days when we came back, so we're home. My husband would drive us to the hospital because I couldn't drive as I'm taking all this medication for pain. And they do rounds. So every morning you get to be a part of the doctor's rounds, and they're telling you what happened, like what are the procedures they're doing, which is great. And they know that you spend so much time sitting by your baby's side. So they ask for your input as well. So they're like, oh, these are the stats that we're seeing. What are you noticing? Like, you might be able to pick up something that they don't.
Interesting.
And I remember, I think it's like our first week there, I'm sitting in the chair. They're telling us all these things that are going on, like her, like she had like a skin infection in the beginning, because again, she wasn't supposed to be born yet, so young. So you're talking about all the things that they're doing, medications that you're giving her, and what the next steps would look like, how they're monitoring her brain development, and just making sure everything is okay. And I remember sitting, and all I could think of is, how did I end up here? Like 2 weeks ago, my husband and I were cleaning the nursery and be like, okay, we need to start getting things ready and just have an idea of what we want to do with the nursery.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting beside an incubator and all these monitors that are telling me her oxygen level, her heart rate. And doctors are talking to me about antibiotics. And while you're still pregnant, there is the way they breathe, there's like a hole in their heart.
Oh yeah.
That's how they get oxygen. But once the baby is born, that hole is supposed to close. Because she was born so early, hers were still open. So every time her heart would beat, she would get some of the blood would like end up in her lungs.
Wow.
So they're talking about all this medication and all the things that they can do, because before they used to do open heart surgery for these babies, but now thankfully medicine has moved so forward that they're like, oh, we can just give them Tylenol or ibuprofen. That's one of the reasons why they tell you not to take those when you're pregnant, because that it can affect the whole. And I did not know that.
I did know that.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know the reason. I just was like, okay, I'm not gonna take it.
Right?
That's insane.
Yeah. So they're trying to talk, oh, we're gonna do this, and if this doesn't work, we're gonna do this, if that doesn't work. And it was a whole month before they were able, we had gone through all the options where suddenly heart surgery was an option that was getting on the table.
Whoa.
And I'm sitting there being like, again, how did I get here? Why am I like, what is going on? And I'm trying to be strong. Thankfully, Foothills has a psychologist.
Oh, great.
Just for NICU parents.
Oh, amazing.
And
We need that.
I saw her. If I could see her every day, I would have seen her every day.
Yeah.
I saw her so often, which was great because it allowed me to. I remember being so mad about everything when it happened.
Yeah.
And
Kind of feel robbed of the experience.
Yeah.
Hey.
yeah, because you don't hear much about NICU. I feel like now that it's been a part of my world, I hear so much more about it.
Yeah.
But I don't, like before going into, it's like, oh, you get pregnant, you have the baby, and everything is rosy.
Yeah.
So
it's the yellow car.
it is.
Yeah. Like, you see it
I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
So talking to her, we talked a lot about what is in your control and what is not in your control. And it is okay to grieve
Yes. 100%.
the pregnancy, because yes, I'm grateful that she's here, and I'm grateful that she has all this doctors and everyone taking care of her, and she's doing well. But it's okay you can be grateful and grieve at the same time.
Yeah.
So being able to process that and work through that was so helpful.
Yeah.
That I was going to say we were in a NICU for 3.5 months.
That's incredible.
Just every single day going in and trying to be like, I'm fine. It's okay. We can do this. Just
You guys are tough.
focus on, focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And this, I cannot say enough about the NICU nurses. Great. Yes, they do a fantastic job with the babies, but they also take care of the parents
Good.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys need that.
There is one test that they do with the NICU babies, which is basically they monitor how their eyes are developing because they're on oxygen. And if you expose them on oxygen when they're so early, it starts to affect how their eyes develop. And sometimes they might have eye issues as they're growing.
Interesting.
So they do a test every 2 weeks to make sure that their blood vessels in their eyes are developing. And I hated this test so much because it sounds so barbaric, and it looks barbaric. So it's like a reverse eye curler. That's the best way I can describe it.
Oh yeah.
Gross. Yikes.
Yeah. And it's because you can't tell a baby, oh, keep your eyes open and we're going to dilate it and put like light in your eyes and kind of see how it's going.
Oh my gosh.
So they're doing this. And I remember the first time I stood there and her lungs haven't developed as much, so you could hear the cry, but it's a very faint cry. Yeah. And the bigger she got, the louder the cries became. Right. And I'm watching this happen. And there were times where I would be shaking. That one of the NICU nurses would come hold my hand and you're like, you're okay. She's okay. Fine. She needs this. And she's crying just because they're putting light in her eye, which is like, anyone, if your eyes are dilated and they put a light in there, you won't be happy. That's her just
Fair.
telling us that she's unhappy. She's not hurt.
Yeah. That's so great to know.
And that helped me so much that every single time this nurse was around and she knew that it was day for the eye exam, they would come over and just kind of hold my hand, which I think was so helpful.
They kind of become family with all that, hey?
Yeah.
The relationships that you create, yeah.
It is
so strong.
So strong. Because what we've gone through, they understand it a lot more than anybody else would understand. So that was our NICU experience. And 3.5 months there, we thought we've gone through a lot. And then we brought her home. And that's like a whole different experience. I'm like, oh, she's going to be home. It's great. I get to have her all the time. I get to hold her and we get to spend all this time together, which is great. But then you start to see the balancing of motherhood and who you are and going through postpartum and learning to accept this new part of you, this new part of you that wasn't there before. And because she was a NICU baby, I exclusively pumped.
Right.
One of the hardest things I think that I have done, and I'm so grateful that I did it, and I'm so grateful I could have done it for as long as we did, but being attached to that machine every 3 hours.
Yeah, no.
Like mentally, you talked about, you hear about being overstimulated, overtouched.
Yeah.
Like, I would see it and my body would go into just like stress and be like, oh, I got to do this now. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
I've heard other moms talk about it too, where they hear a pump and they're like, ugh.
I was not exclusively pumping. And like, there was even days like that first month where I would pump so that Omari could give him a bottle and stuff. And I remember like sitting there one day just like crying, and Omari's like, what's wrong? I hate this machine.
Yep. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, there's this part of me that feels like she's gone through so much.
Like, this is what I can give.
This is what I can give. Yeah. And I need to do this for her.
Yeah.
And we got to a point where my supply started dwindling. And then you start this feeling of, I'm not doing enough. I'm not there are women that could do this for a whole year and their supply is okay. Why is mine dwindling right now? And I'm trying so hard. I'm like, am I not eating enough? Am I not drinking enough water? Like, what is going on? Instead of realizing that your body changes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
For her, where she's at, she might have been, I think she was 6 months at the time when I started noticing the changes. Most times when babies are 6 months old is when you start to introduce solids. Right. So then it's normal that your body is slowing down its production. But for me, I was like, she's 6 months, but she's still developed. There's an adjusted and developmental age that they put NICU babies at. So she is, adjusted and unadjusted. Adjusted, she was 3 months old. Unadjusted, she was 6 months old.
Yeah, right.
So
she comes so early.
Because she came so early. So in terms of the feeding, I had to feed her like she was a 3-month-old, but my body was 6 months postpartum. So it's trying to blend those two together and be like, okay, like this is normal. But I just kept on feeling like I was letting her down, and so trying to.
So many dueling emotions. Hey.
Yeah. Especially being someone that. I'm a bit of a type A personality. I don't know if that comes across. But being somebody that, this is the problem. This is how we fix it. Logic. This is going on. Yeah. This is what you do. Yeah. And now getting to this point where I just have to accept that I might not have control over it. And it doesn't mean it's not bad or good. It's just you don't have control over it. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And like, when in your life are you ever in a position to like practice that to the extent of being a NICU parent? Like, never. Like, exactly. You're just never going to be able to.
Yeah. You can't run a drill to be like, no. And this is what I would do.
And if there was, you would have been on it.
Right? So it was learning to be okay with not controlling everything, which is such a hard thing to do. And I I don't think I've learned how to do that. I don't think I will ever learn how to do that.
No.
Some days I'm like, oh, this is great. I don't feel like I have to control everything, and it's good. And then other days I'm like, but I want to control everything. It would be so much nicer if I could just, things could just happen the way I want them to. So that was like a big change of, okay, my time is not mine anymore. I'm exclusively pumping. I don't have as much control over things, or I don't have as much, control over things as I thought I would have, and just being okay with that, which is tough.
A lifelong journey.
Very tough.
Yeah. Well, especially when your nervous system has been through so much too. Like, I think for anybody who hasn't even experienced that, it's such a shock to the system to be like, essentially, my life has completely switched 180 degrees, and then now I almost don't recognize like what I'm supposed to do with myself and how I'm supposed to react. And
and then trying to navigate kind of like the trauma that comes with all of that too, right? Like the whole experience, I would imagine, was quite traumatic. In probably more ways than one. Like there's layers to that trauma for sure.
And it's always this dichotomy of, I am very grateful. Because she's doing great. And I'm so thankful for that. That sometimes I don't let myself grieve the change in my life and the change in who I am, or the change in how I see things. Because I'm like, no, like she's doing great. Like, I'm her mom, and I'm so grateful I get to be her mom, that I can't be upset that I can't sleep when I want to sleep, where I can't, get a workout in whenever I want to get a workout, So a lot of
how have you, sorry, I know that you were going to say something.
No, you go ahead. Go crazy.
How have you managed to adjust? So as she got older, did you feel like you were able to handle those emotions, like the trauma and things like that? What has kind of been your process to get to a place where, because now you're in a position where you're back to work. So I want to talk about that transition, because that's like, it seems so huge to make that
jump back to like full time, because you're basically 9 to 5 Monday to Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of support. I think that realizing that I can't do everything is a good thing. And understanding that thankfully we have a lot of family around that are there to help. So having that support of, okay, my husband and I are both working, and she had hand, foot, mouth.
Oh no.
And I remember trying to work at home, and thankfully we were able to have both of our moms come at different points to kind of take care of her so we could get stuff done. So having that support around us is really, really helpful. And one of the things that I try and tell myself is that if my glass is full or even half full, then I can pour a lot more into her, and I can pour a lot more into my relationship with my husband. I can pour a lot more into the patients and the clients that I work with. So I have had to learn that I can't control everything. The thing I control is my glass, and trying to make that as full as I possibly can, so that for the rest of the day, I can pour out little bits of myself. And that is when I started working out. 5 a.m. workouts. I'm not a morning person. I am so not a morning person. But I find when I do that in the morning, that's my time. I don't have anyone asking me for anything. I don't have anyone touching me. I don't have anyone I don't have to figure out anything. It's just me hopping on the bike and someone telling me, increase your resistance, decrease your resistance, stand up, sit down. I'm like, okay, my brain doesn't have to do much work. And then the endorphins kick in. And for the rest of the day, I'm like, oh, this is good.
So awesome.
It's so good.
Good for you. I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I'm trying. And I do want to say, it's not an everyday thing. So there are some mornings I wake up and I'm like, no, there's no way I'm going down to the gym right now. I'm going to take this extra hour to sleep. And there are other days where I'm like, okay, I know I need to do it because my day is going to be really busy. And if I start my day with my glass half full, then I can pour out as much as I need to without getting overstimulated and then feeling bad because I'm overstimulated.
That perspective is everything.
Huge.
And taking it one day at a time.
Massive. Yeah.
So big.
Yeah.
My first day going back to work, I cried so many times. I remember I dropped her off at daycare, which we had done a slow daycare transition, which I thought was great, because then I could drop her off, just get used to driving away from the daycare and knowing that she's in good hands.
Yes.
First day of work, I dropped her off, and I remember driving away, and it felt different. I think it just felt different. Like I knew that I wasn't going home. Like that part of being at home is done. And I remember driving to work, and I cried my whole commute, and I get to work and I'm doing okay. And then in the middle of the day, I'm like, I just need a minute, and I'd go and I'd cry. The crying got less the more I got to work.
Yeah.
And then I think by the end of the second week, I was like, okay, it feels good to be back at work, because I get to do something for myself, and it's not selfish to want to do something for myself. And I worked really hard to have the career that I have as an athletic therapist. And I get to help so many other people with the knowledge and the passion that I have. And that fills my cup in a way. So then by the time I go back home, yes, I'm tired, but then I can pour a lot more into her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I really love that journey of yours, that, you know, you recognize that this was something that you'd worked hard for, you as an identity within yourself, right? I think sometimes what happens when moms maybe start to like choose like what they want to pursue, it's often like, oh, I'm not going to do the things that I enjoy because now my job is to take care of other people or is, you know, to do something else, which is fine if that is like truly what you want to do.
Yes. Yeah.
But what I resonate with your experience is that you were very intentional with assessing what is important to me, because not only is that, like you're saying, filling your cup and making your family life better, like you feel like you can pour back into your daughter, but it's also such a great example to your daughter that like she doesn't have to change who she is because she becomes a mother. She can create her motherhood to incorporate the things that she does and the things that make her who she is. Yeah. And especially, you know, Maddie and I, we both come from similar backgrounds where, you know, it's very interactive with other people, and you enjoy, you know, the impact that you're having on others and the relationships you can create. And I think those in themselves are so beautiful, like those kind of relationships and the things that you learn from other people and things like that. And so I really applaud that, you know, it's a hard transition for sure.
It's tough.
For sure.
And there are definitely times where the mom guilt kicks in. Yeah. For example, last night I missed bedtime because I was working, which is fine. And my husband is so supportive, which I love. And he's so involved with her that I leave and I don't have to be like, oh, this is here and that is here and this is for dinner. Perfect. It's like, I will see you when I'm
We love that back. Yeah, that's ideal.
That is, I'm so grateful for that. Yeah. So last night I woke up, in the morning, woke up, dropped her off at daycare, and that was all the time we spent together. I think it was maybe an hour. So I came back home and she's in bed and talking to my husband about how the day went, and he's saying, oh, she had such a good day, and we came back from daycare, she was so happy, she was running around and she was singing, and
precious.
And there's a part of me that's like, I miss that. But I also am so grateful that she has both of her parents so involved that she feels comfortable and she's herself and she's having so much fun. She doesn't feel like because mom wasn't there for the evening, it's the end of the world. So like last night, but I felt like it would have been so nice to have been there and see her smile and spend all this time with her. But I also know that it was really important for me to be at work and important for me to be making some steps in my career that will eventually allow me to spend more time with her.
Right. That's just it. I wanted to comment on that, is that I think sometimes we can hyper focus on like what we're not providing or what we're not, you know, like you miss bedtime, but do you miss bedtime every night? Like, no. And like how much time do you really engage with your child? Like, I know that you're a very involved mother and, you know, you're very intentional about the way that you interact with her and even the way that you perceive like your own emotions around her and stuff. Like I can tell that you're really intentional and caring about that. And so I think that's something to address, is just, we have to kind of look at it at a bigger bigger scope and be like,
That's
okay,
true.
Yeah.
you know, especially when the mom guilt comes in and be like, okay, like,
Yeah.
really what
Yeah.
am I actually providing versus like, what am I focusing on, you know, that my deficits are, because they're not all encompassing.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's very true. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder.
I feel like sometimes it's healthy for me to go like longer periods being away from my child so that like it's healthy for me to miss him a little bit.
That's fair.
You know? Because I think when I come back, then I appreciate the little things more versus being like annoyed that he's whatever, like pulling on my legs or under my feet when I'm cooking, you know?
Other things.
Then those things
toddler
irritate me
things.
less when I'm like, oh yeah, but I just missed you for 6 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also I have tried really hard to be intentional with motherhood and trying to give her as many opportunities as I possibly can and show her that whatever she wants to do, however she wants to do it, it is possible. It might be a bit of a bumpy ride to get there, but you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
She's very extroverted, which I'm usually not. So in my head, I have this fear that she's going to be that kid in the daycare, in the playground that goes around being like, "Hi, my name is this is my mom," and I'm like, "Hi, I don't interact with other people." Exactly. So I know that that's her. So I love the fact that she gets to be around so many other different babies at daycare.
Yes.
Yeah.
They love that.
They love it. And I find her vocabulary has gotten so much better.
Yeah.
Her skills have gotten so much better. She knows how to use a fork and a spoon. And it's definitely not me. I did not teach her how to use a fork and a spoon, but now she uses it.
Amazing.
Or she
Awesome.
sings all these songs and she's intentional about when she says she's all done. She is all done. Like don't try and give her more food. She will throw it on the floor.
Yeah.
Which our dog loves.
Yeah.
She sits right by the high chair just waiting for something to go on the floor. And also intentional about how I talk to her, which has taught me about regulating my emotions.
Oh, yes.
There are times when she might be upset about something and I am tired, but at that moment I have to say, I'm the adult. Mm-hmm. I have to try and listen to what she's saying. She's not just being, I don't know, they're not just having a tantrum for the sake of having a tantrum.
They're not manipulative.
Exactly. She's trying to communicate. So take a step back, breathe.
That's so hard.
And let's see what she's trying to say. It is so, so hard. And there are times when I'm not good at it, that my husband will come tap me on the shoulder and he's like, okay, I'm tapping you out.
Oh,
like, okay.
that's good.
That's a good strategy.
I gotta implement that.
Yeah, he's like, I think he read it somewhere or he saw it somewhere that it's both you and your partner are going to get frustrated when you're being parents. And when you're out of the situation, you might be able to understand the scenario a bit better. So once you realize that your partner is getting a bit frustrated, it's just go in, just tap them on the shoulder and be like, okay, I'm tapping you out.
I got it.
And when that's one of the hard things, that sometimes they do that and you feel like you're not a good parent in that moment. And so we had to make it clear, I'm not doing it because I don't think you're a good parent. I'm just doing it because I am here to help you.
Yeah.
So it's just tap, and then I take a step away and he tops in.
Ooh,
I love
so
that.
good.
That's so good because I feel like when I get too far down the rabbit hole of like there's a point where like I've crossed the like no coming back from my feeling frustrated without being like removed from the situation.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so hard to remove yourself sometimes, especially because it's like, oh, I'm involved in this situation. I can't just walk away. So to have that other trusted adult there to tap in, like it's so good for your child's regulation too, to learn like, okay, you know, because then somebody's coming back in and they're regulated and they're like, okay, let's implement some strategies or like, let's talk about it. Like, what can I hear from you now? And so I think that's going to translate so huge down the line for your daughter. Like she's just going to benefit from that so much. And, and it's going to be such a good practice, right? Like I can imagine you probably get much more efficient doing that too, right?
Yes. On that note, I also want to ask, how do you feel like becoming parents has strengthened your guys' relationship? Or in other ways? I mean, you can share whatever you want on that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I think it has helped us realize how we are there for each other. Because going through our NICU experience, we understand the thickest of it. Yeah. We were right by each other when things weren't going as great as we wanted to. We were right by each other when they tell you all the statistics of what it looks like that your child leaves the NICU without, medication or without needing a tube to be fed through. Like you hear all that, and you're right by each other. So I know that no matter what, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
And he knows that no matter what, I'm going to be there. Like, yes, we're going to be both. There are going to be times where we're both scared. There are times when the unexpected is thrown our way, but we've got each other's back.
Amazing.
And that is something that I take from that experience. Like, yes, the NICU experience was horrible and I never want to have to live it again, but I am sort of grateful for that, because now I know that even through tough times, we have each other's back.
You guys have some deep roots now.
Yes, really, really deep roots. And it's becoming parents has also taught us how to communicate a lot. Like, we thought we were good communicators before.
So did we.
Then you throw the child in the mix, and you're like, oh, we were decent.
Yeah.
There's a whole different level of communication, and even the little things you have to communicate. Otherwise, the other person sees it in a way that you didn't think they would see it before. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm gonna go take a shower. Like little things like that. Instead of, where did you disappear off to, and why am I doing this by myself? It's just, I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Or I need to go grab groceries for this, and this, and I'll be back, So I find like our communication has gotten a lot better, and we've realized how much more we have to go in terms of communication. And there was one more thing that I'm like forgetting right now. And also trusting each other. Like the whole tap-in practice.
Yeah.
There are times when if you don't communicate and trust the other person, you might feel like them tapping in is them saying that they're better than you in that moment.
Yes.
So it's about trusting that, oh, no, the tap-in it's there to help me. It's not there to one up on me.
Right.
So that trust has been huge.
Oh.
It's not great. There are times where we both get frustrated with each other.
We're still human.
Yeah, we're still human. There are times when we've had to have some really difficult conversations, but it's understanding that it is us trying to find a solution through those conversations, not us just trying to win an argument.
Yes. Right. Yeah. I'd imagine you'd have to really lean on like your friendship part of your relationship during those times.
Yes.
Hey? Like not only are you life partners, parents now, but you have to really rely on, again, like those deep roots of just like you really enjoy each other and you love each other.
Yeah.
And
and who you know that person to be.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's a big thing that we've had the conversation a couple times, and it's there are times when I know I can get frustrated because I feel like he should be helping with a project without me having to ask for help in that project. Like, you should be able to read my mind and be like, oh, you need help putting on the Christmas lights today, even though we didn't talk about it yesterday. And I can get frustrated, be like, oh, I'll do it myself because he's not helping. Yeah. And I have to remind myself that he will help if I ask him to help.
Yeah, that's right.
He will move heaven and earth if he has to help me do something. And so being frustrated about, oh, he's not helping me right in this moment. And you have to go back and think of who that person is. Yeah. Because they've showed you multiple examples of, they will stand by your side. They will support you. They will, challenge you when they have to. In that moment, you're just so into it that you don't think about it. And it's about taking a step back and be like, no, in this moment, it might not seem like he's helping, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't help at all.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, so
that's a good reminder for me.
I feel like who doesn't?
I've lived that situation for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's such a blessing to find somebody who you can rely on like that. Just the fact that you have to give yourself the reminder is like kind of almost a relief in its own way. Like, okay, I'm with somebody who's there through all the rough patches, and I just have to be more willing and more graceful with them, and yada. Yeah. So
that's type awesome. A comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Gonna rein her in a little bit. Like, okay.
At least you're aware of it though.
Yes.
Totally. That's the first step, I think.
Yeah. And that was what last year was, being aware of it and realizing what are, like, yes, there's some positive things to it, but there are also some negative things to it. And being able to realize which things are positive and when am I being a negative, like, or what's a negative part of having that personality, and being able to take the critique, like criticism, and be like, okay, yeah, I could have been better in that situation, and then learn from that and try and apply it as you move forward.
Yeah.
The humility is tough.
Yeah.
But so worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Amazing.
It
Okay,
is.
on that note, just to last question, I want to know, what is your favorite part about being a mom?
Oh my gosh. It's watching the personality develop.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so fun.
It is. They used to be this little, sack of potatoes, because you would put them down and she'd just stay there and maybe roll around sometimes, or, you know, and then they become this person that interacts with you. Like if you make a funny noise or a funny face, they laugh at it. Or if they don't like something, they'll frown and, like, you know, and eventually they start to have their own, like, toys that they like, and you're like, oh, this is a toy that you like and I can give it to you. Or they have their songs that they like and you're like, oh, okay, this is the song I'm going to listen to if you're happy and you know it a million times. That's fine. And then now this person, like, now she talks and she runs and she laughs and she, you know, her communication skills, I am jealous of. I wish maybe this is how it is with all babies, but the way she can, if she wants her bunny, she's going to be like, bunny, and she's going to point and you give it to her and she takes it and she's happy with it. If she wants a book, she'll say book, you give her the book and she's happy with it. And I sometimes look at her and I'm like, how did you get here? But then I also got to experience the journey of how you got here. And she is so strong-willed, which is a great thing. And I'm trying to remind myself, like, it's a good thing. You want her to be strong and independent. But when we're trying to leave in the morning, I just need you to just let's go.
Oh, for real.
Right? But I love watching her personality develop. It is one of the best things ever. And yeah, one of the best things about motherhood.
Pure joy. Totally relate. I love that so much.
I love that.
Great answer.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Because it's so true.
Well, it's been a joy watching your social media and your content, and just,
Thank
you know, just you sharing your little bits and pieces. And I love how real and authentic you are with the journey. It's been a pleasure to talk to you a little bit more in depth about your experience. And my heart really goes out to you for all the things that you've experienced. But I also am very grateful for your willingness to share parts of those. It's very vulnerable.
I think it is important, especially like you said before you became a NICU mom. It's like you'd never hear these stories. And I think it is important to give those things voice, because I think those moments can feel quite isolating. And to just know that you're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, like, of course, everybody's journey is different, but just knowing that there are other people out there who get it and have been through similar things and have made it out the other side.
Yeah.
I think is huge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Totally.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big things that I really want to be authentic, because I don't think that we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as parents, and no one has the perfect recipe of what it looks like, whether you're a working mom or a stay-at-home mom. Like, it's all hard. It is all so hard. And all we're trying to do is show up every single day and try and have some level of stability through it all. And it is important to show that stability doesn't look like everything is perfect. There are days when if you think of any curve, there are days when, you know, you're going to feel great and you're up here, and there are days when you're going to be like at the bottom. But at the end, if you look at the full picture, you're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that.
Yeah.
And I try and show that as much as I can with social media.
That's great.
Because I think it's important. I bet you there's so many people that look at different accounts and they feel like, oh, she's got her life together. And look how, you know, she's working and she's got this great job and she's able to be there for her kids. And we try. And not every day is that. And social media is just a snippet of it.
Totally.
For sure.
Yeah. To go in with your eyes wide open, and nobody's sharing their entire realities, but it's nice to have some real moments still shared too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Whit. We
Thanks
really
for
appreciate
having
it. We're super excited to get to know you more, and we'd love to get our kids together. That'd be super fun.
So much fun.
It's it's one of the pleasures of finding like local moms and rock stars. Just like
so good.
Our kids would totally click. I can tell.
They would.
So
they would.
Yeah.
they sound like they've all got very strong personalities.
Yeah.
I feel like every almost 2-year-old has, they all have strong personalities.
So fun.
They're like, I know so much. I can walk now. So basically, I run the world.
I'm an adult now.
Yeah, pretty much. Literally. So I think it's just because they haven't had their personalities like taught out of them yet.
Oh. I'm not going to think about that too hard. That's going to make me cry.
It's a whole other topic for another day.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we'll end with that positive note.
Sorry.
Just think about the loveliness of toddlers. And thank you again. And thank you to our audience again for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Like Maddie said at the beginning, don't forget to like and subscribe and add any comments. And we will see you next time. Thank you. Much love. Bye.
Bye.